come this crow came? So they both came. And they saw Neela Madhava was standing there and Lakshmi Devi. The deities were there, so beautiful, blue, most beautiful lotus eyes. And Brahma said, I'm astonished. How did this crow, assume four-arm form? And Yamaraj also came and complained. How am I going to do my job? So then Lakshmi Devi spoke up. And that's when we understand how the Shabdas and all these questions. Lakshmi Devi says, this is Purushottam Kshetra. This means this is the home of the Lord. It's like a Vaikuntha planet. And over here, in this 80 miles, no demigods have authority over here. It's out of your jurisdiction. So a temple pujari cannot go and impose the rules or regulations over there. No, not ordinary. So anybody who comes here, immediately are coming to abode of Lord Krishna himself. And they assume the four form automatically. Anybody who takes a step here means they are taking the whole pilgrimage. Anybody who even speaks here is equivalent to speaking the Vedic hymns. Anybody. So, and all these insects and, normal animals who lives here, who reside here, they are already have the four-arm Vaikuntvasis, residents, like Lord Vishnu, associates. And actually the demigods, when they look down into Puri, Puri is 80 miles, all the living entities, from the insects to the birds to the animals to the people living there, residing there, they only can see the four-arm form, Lord Vishnu. That's the abode. And Lakshmi Devi also said, this place, Purushottam Kshetra, during annihilation, does not get annihilated. What does that mean? It does not get destroyed. At all. Everything else gets destroyed. This place stays the same. Because it's the place of Lord Krishna. Can you imagine? So when the pralay comes, everything will be under water. And the water, the waves is not small, like the waves that you see out there. Or the tsunamis that get. Every wave is like a tsunami. So one small wave, our wave, is like a huge tsunami during annihilation. So she said to Yamaraj, said, your jurisdiction is not going to work here. Your laws will not work here. So then they said, okay, what are the other things, wonderful things about this place? And Lakshmi Devi also spoke up. She said that this place is special to another rishi, Markandeya rishi. Right? He was performing all these austerities, and so he was given this benediction that you will have a long life. What's the length of the life? Is 7 kalpas. So what is a kalpa? One kalpa is where you have the Satyug, the Treta, the Dwapar, Kalyug. There's so many millions of years. That's one kalpa. After that, you have annihilation. And there's 7 of those. So 7 Satyugs, 7 Dwapars, 7 Tretas, and Kalyugs. And now one kalpa, one cycle of all those 4 yugas, is equivalent to 1 day of Lord Brahma. So what happens to 1 day of Lord Brahma is, and the same for his night. As soon as the day finishes for Lord Brahma, he goes to sleep and there's devastation. Everything gets, annihilated. It's covered with water and all these tsunamis. So Markandeya Rishi had to survive through all that 7 times. So during the day it's fine, it's all happy. But during the night of Lord Brahma, there's nothing there. So he had to survive so many millenniums in the huge waters and waves and everything. And he was in a lot of suffering. I mean, to put it very mildly, can you survive in this huge, and there's nothing there? And it was said, Radhanath Swami said, there's this huge, I don't know what kind of fish they were, but in one bite of it swallows whales. And they were ready to attack Markandeya Rishi. So he was really suffering. And then one day he saw, while he was suffering, he saw an island. And he saw land, finally. And he went near the island and he saw there was a Kalpavriksha tree, banyan tree. And on the branch of the tree, there was a little baby. a baby on the branch during devastation and annihilation. The baby was playing. The arms and legs were moving. And very cute, very beautifully, this blue baby, very blue, lifted one of the legs, with both his hands playfully, and put the toe of the leg in the mouth and started sucking it. So beautiful. If you see cute little babies sucking their toes. And Markandeya Rishi kind of forgot all his suffering and everything. Because it's a beautiful baby. It was Lord Krishna, obviously. You will see some of those photos. I have that photo saved in my as an icon on my email. That's when you email me, you will not see me. You will see a little baby sucking his toe, baby Krishna. So beautiful. So that's Markandeya Rishi. And he goes there, what's this? He forgets. And the little baby suddenly breathes. Inhalation. And he inhales. And Markandeya Rishi goes into his mouth. He gets sucked in. And then he goes into his body and he sees all the planets there. Just like Lord Krishna opens his mouth to Yashoda Mai. You see all the entire creation and planets. That's what he saw. And then the baby breathed out. And Markandeya Rishi was thrown out of the mouth again. And into the waters, back into the waters. And he said, what's this place? So then he spoke, and then he realized that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is God. And there he was told, he said, okay, you don't have to suffer anymore. You can make your residence here. And he was told, this place, what is this place? The one that never gets annihilated? This place is Purushottam Kshetra. It's Puri. You can live here. So Markandeya Rishi lived there. He resided and he never left. Actually, when the Lord Brahma's daylight came, he didn't even leave. It's there for the 7 kalpas. And Lord Shiva was very impressed with Markandeya Rishi. So he decided to give him some darshan. So Lord Shiva went down there, saw Markandeya Rishi and said, you're a great soul, we are here to give you a benediction. He went there with Uma Devi, his wife. And Markandeya Rishi looked at Lord Shiva. First he was in a meditation. And then Lord Shiva went as air into his nostrils, into his body, into his heart. Then Markandeya Rishi, through his meditation, so Lord Shiva opened his eyes. Lord Shiva was standing right in front of him. He said, what benediction can I give you? And he said, just give me the benediction that I may serve the Supreme Lord, that I might serve you. He didn't ask for anything else. So Markandeya Rishi made a deity. After that, Lord Shiva went, gave them a benediction, made a deity of Lord Shiva. So it's known as, I think that, was it Markandeshwara, Lord Shiva. And after hearing this, Yamaraj also made a deity of Lord Shiva there. So I think it's a Yameshwara there in Puri. So Lakshmi Devi said, you can all go now, but before you go, after that they were pacified, Yamaraj and Lord Brahma. But your job, this is an important one, your job is to assist this very dear devotee. He's a king. His name is King Indradumna. He's going to come. Your job is to assist him when the time comes. And she blessed. And Yamaraj went home. And Lord Brahma went home. And this Jaimini Rishi who was relating this story, like I'm relating this story, the sages said, who is this King Indradumna? Why is he so special? Tell us more. And then that's the story of Indradumna Maharaj. And that's how Nila Madhav comes in. Indradumna Maharaj was ruling the planet Earth at that time, and he was very rich. Very rich. Obviously, he's the king of the world. And he had the wives and kids and horses, and the whole planet was his, but he was not happy. He was missing something. So he was sitting there with all the sages and the sadhus, and he said, what's the meaning of life? Where am I going to find God? Where is God? He was actually a pure devotee in his heart. And so he said, where? And one of the sadhus was listening and he said, I don't know much, but what I do know is there is a deity called Nila Madhav in Purukshetra. And you have to go there. And that's where you will find your Lord. He described. And King Indradumna Maharaj was like, okay, so where am I going to find? Who knows where Nila Madhav is? Because Nila Madhav is, there with Lakshmi Devi. And he's God. But Lakshmi Devi, you know, there's one thing I forgot to tell you. While Lakshmi Devi was relating these stories to Yamaraj, she also said one other thing. Very important thing. He said, when King Indradumna comes to see us, we will leave. So that Purushottam Kshetra, where Neelamada Lakshmi Devi is there, that Yamaraj and Lord Brahma are supposed to help. When he comes to see them, they will leave. This is very odd. But that's what the Leela was. So Indradumna Maharaj did not know this. He is looking, he said, okay, I'm going to find Neelamada and I'm going to find Lakshmi Devi. So he had this minister, his name was Vidyapati, means, you know, Vidya means knowledge. He was very clever. And he was like 100%, like totally dedicated to King Indradumna. He said, I'll find Neelamada for you. If anybody can do it, Vidyapati can do it. So Vidyapati goes on a quest and a mission to find Neelamada. And Neelamada, that sadhu had said, you have to go, north of that ocean and south of the Mahanadi river. You have to go to Neelachal. He's there somewhere in the forest. So he was told. Anyway, he went everywhere and then finally he came to this place. And he went through this dense forest and kept on looking. Vidyapati kept on looking and looking. He couldn't find Neelamada. He couldn't find. What he could, one day was resting under the trees and he heard. What did he hear? He could hear some people talking. And the things they were saying was in a language he didn't know, and they were like very like tribal people. Who were they? The Shabaras. They were the Shabaras. And they came up to him and said, how can we serve him? They found Vidyapati, and Vidyapati said, I'm looking for Neelamada. And they knew straight away who it was, because they were in the forest, they were looking after Neelamada. It was described that the Shabaras used to cook food, right, bhoga. They used to eat, and Jagannath, the Neelamada also was eating at the same time. You eat, we'll eat with you. It was like that. Our Vidhi Vidhan is like, we offer there, we don't eat it, we don't taste it, we wait. 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 20 minutes, then the plate goes there, we wash the plate. Everything is neat and tidy, then you can have it. But that's not how the Shabaras, they were very, tribal people. Neelamada was one of their buddies. That's how they were looking after. So anyway, they said, so the story goes two ways. One is, the head tribe, of course, his name was Vishwavasu, yes. Vishwavasu, thank you. Vishwavasu was the leader. And there is two stories. One was that he knew the legend that as soon as, King Indradumna will come, the deities will disappear. And he knew this Vidyapati was a minister for King Indradumna. So he was hesitant, he didn't want to. And the other story is that he did want to, because he was, servant of Neelamada. So I'll just touch a little bit briefly the one where he didn't want to. But that's not the story we'll follow. We'll follow the one, as Radhanath Swami had mentioned. It was that Vishwavasu actually did show Neelamada. Where it says didn't show, he was blindfolded. Vidyapati was blindfolded and taken to see Neelamada. And Vidyapati was very, very smart. So along the way, he was dropping little seeds of some, mustard seeds, correct, mustard seeds. And the monsoon rains will come, and then the mustard seeds will grow, and he will follow. So that's one line of the story. The other one is he was taken very nicely and showed Neelamada. He was very well fed and everything. So that's the one that Radhanath Swami mentioned, that Vishwavasu actually showed him Neelamada. So Vidyapati went and darshan Neelamada, offered his prayers and everything. Went back and told King Indradumna Maharaj, the king, I've seen Neelamada. He's there. Okay, so what happens on the way? On the way to, by the time he goes to see the king, Vidyapati, to tell him he's finally found Neelamada, there is a big storm and there is a big typhoon. And what happens to Neelamada and Lakshmi Devi? They get buried in the sand. They go, they disappear. Nobody knows this. So then King Indradumna Maharaj is there, King Indradumna and Vidyapati, and he said, okay, you found Neelamada. What I'm going to do? I'm going to take my entire kingdom everyone, and we're going to live in Purushottam Kshetra near Nila Madhav. And we'll be very happy. So, at this time, Narad Muni makes his entry because it's his job to help King Indradumna, because he was instructed by Lakshmi Devi, you help him. So he decides to he come down, and then he goes with King Indradumna and the entire kingdom to find Nila Madhav. And on the way, they come near the river or Mahanadi, and there they rest, and they find this king, another king of one of his, those little kingdoms. Indradumna is there, and then all the little other kings are there. So Utkal, that place was called Utkal. The king of Utkal came and said, "How are you?" And he said, "Oh, I'm fine." But, there was a storm. And there was a storm and destroyed a lot of things in my kingdom, including Nila Madhav. And the king was like, the king was almost going to die. And that's when Narad Muni said, no. The king, you can still go, because it's the Lord, the Supreme Lord. He will fulfill your wish. Don't worry. Just go. So he goes. And so he decides, because, Narad Muni is able to pacify him and get him on his. And you will see that the things that King Indradumna has to go through to see Nila Madhav. His bhakti is so strong. So he crosses the river. And as he crosses the river, he comes to Bhuvaneshwar. And Narad Muni says, you have to pray to Bhuvaneshwar now, Lord Shiva. Like I mentioned in the beginning, what is the role of Lord Shiva, right? Lord Shiva resides in Bhuvaneshwar. And we don't have much time. Actually, we've only got 10 minutes. So to cut a short story, he was blessed. He had a fight with Lord Krishna and everything like that. And in the end, Lord Krishna, it's due to Kashiraj. Lord Shiva was like Kashiraj, the king of Kashi. He blessed King Kashi because his father was killed by Lord Krishna, Paundraka. And so Lord Shiva was on the wrong side. He was on the other side, Paundraka and Kashiraj. And anyway, he had a fight with Krishna because Kashiraj wanted to kill Krishna for killing his father. So Lord Shiva was helping Kashiraj, not supposed to do that. But Lord Shiva did it for a reason. He wanted a special boon. That's why he did this drama. Because otherwise nobody would really want to fight Krishna. Anyway, Krishna says to Lord Shiva, you've done something wrong. You don't even like me. Why are you always fighting me? You fought with me. And Lord Shiva said, I'm sorry, because Lord Shiva was defeated by Sudarshan Chakra. He was very scared. So he took shelter with Krishna. Krishna said, okay, I give you the benediction. You will reside in Bhuvaneshwar. You will be my gatekeeper. And not only that, everywhere is my dham. You will always be the gatekeeper. You will be the keeper of the dham. So in order to go to Orissa, Puri, first go to Bhuvaneshwar. Get Lord Shiva's blessings. He will let you enter Puri with blessings. Actually, I didn't know that when I went to Puri. So I went to Puri first, then Bhuvaneshwar later. But it should be Bhuvaneshwar first. But anyway, the airport is there. I just went to the airport and then Puri. So this is what King Indradumna went. He went to Bhuvaneshwar. There he prayed to Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva told him, okay, go now to Nilachal. You'll find Nila Madhav there. And but before that, you'll see a Lord Nrsimha deity. You worship Lord Nrsimha deity and he will guide you further. In other words, you still haven't made it there. You still need further instructions. And there you have to do 100 Ashwamedha Yagnas. The horse sacrifice, 100. Then you get the benediction, then you'll get Nila Madhav. So King Indradumna said, yes, thank you very much. He goes there. And then on the way, he gets all these bad omens. His eyes are twitching, the lids are twitching, his left arm is twitching, the left eyelid, and says to Narad Muni, who's still with him, what is all this bad omen? And Narad Muni says, oh, well, actually, there was a typhoon or a, tsunami, and Nila Madhav is destroyed, is gone. Is actually gone. That's when he tells King Indradumna, who came with entire kingdom, and he said, what? Why didn't you tell me? I've come here with all my kingdom. Why did you encourage me? All this, pain and suffering I went through, and Neela Madhav is not there. And then he says, no, don't give up. You have been instructed by Lord Shiva, worship Narsingadev, make a temple for him, do your Ashwamedha yagnas, you will find. You will find a way. You will be told. So, because Indradyumna was ready to die, fast until death. So Narad Muni had to pacify him again. And anyway, he worshipped Lord Nrsingadev and did the Ashwamedha yagnas. And then in the final, 100 Ashwamedha yagnas, the final one, he had a dream in Shwetadeep, Lord Vishnu there. And he told Narad Muni, I had a dream. And Lord Vishnu did this, Shwetadeep. And this is the final Ashwamedha yagna. And Narad Muni said, that's very auspicious. Something good is going to happen. And then those people in his kingdom who were there, they came running to King Indradyumna and said, something funny has happened. We have to tell you. And King Indradyumna said, what? He said, there's an incredible fragrance, beautiful smell, fragrance, perfume coming from the ocean. There's a tree there. And Narad Muni said, yes, this is what it is. This is where Neela Madhav is going to come. And you will think, what, a tree in the ocean? That's weird. Anyway, they finish the 100th Ashwamedha yagna. They go, and Narad Muni says, you have to bring the tree in. And you know what that tree was? That tree was so fragrant, it had all the marks of Lord Vishnu. You know how Lord Vishnu has the conch, the shell, what else? The lotus flower and the Sudarshan chakra. It was all there on the tree. And the tree was like incredible fragrance. And so Narad Muni said, this is not an ordinary tree. This tree has come from Shwetadeep Vaikunta, from your dream that you saw. It's from there. And it is one hair of Lord Vishnu. Krishna, Supreme Personality, is one hair, just one hair. But that is the manifestation of Lord Vishnu himself. You have to bring that in. And that's the day of the Snan Yatra. So that's the birthday. That's the day that the tree came in the water. So they brought the tree and they said, now you have to make these deities in the form, this is going to be Neela Madhav. And that's why our Lord Jagannath is made of wood. So he said, who's going to make this? We've got 5 minutes, so I'm just going to tell you very quickly. Who's going to make these deities? And Vishwakarma, who's the architect of the heavenly planets, came down in disguise as an old man. I'll be the carpenter, the architect. I will chip away the wood and make the deities, but my condition obviously is, while I'm making it, it'll be closed doors. You cannot even hear me. You have to play the, music or something, outside Vedic hymns. Don't even listen. Don't open the door, because if you open the door, if you interrupt me, I will go away. So, okay, King Indradyumna Maharaj says, right, fine, I will agree. So the doors were closed and they were playing the music, and 15 days came. On the 15th day, King Indradyumna couldn't hear anything. He tried and he opened the door actually. He was so anxious. He went there, nobody was there. And there were 3 forms of wooden deities, but they were not complete. And he started crying, oh my God, after all that pain and suffering, he's gone and these deities are not even complete. Narad Muni steps in again, says, no. This is how the deities are supposed to be. But the deities didn't have any arms and legs and the eyes were like this. Then Narad Muni told this story. He said, these deities are supposed to be like that because actually in another kalpa, another time, Lord Krishna, when he was in Dwarka, after the Vrindavan pastimes, he was there with 16,108 wives. And they were saying to Rukmini, from Rukmini, Satyabhama, they were saying to their mothers-in-law, this Krishna, they were talking amongst themselves, he is sometimes, Rukmini said, he is in the night, in sleeping, he is calling Radha, Radha, Gopi, Gopi. What is, why? Who is this? And Satyabhama said, not even in the night time, daytime too. He's going, Radha, Radha, Gopi, Gopi. Why? So Rohini, who is Lord Balram's mother, she said, okay, I'll tell you. And Narad Muni was watching from somewhere, listening. Close the doors, because if I tell you the story of Vrindavan Leela, then Lord Krishna and Balram will come from somewhere. And so who's going to guard the door? And Subhadra is Lord Krishna's sister. She said, I'll guard the door. So she stands at the door with both hands on the door like this. And then Rohini Mataji Devi, she starts speaking of the Vrindavan Leelas. And when Subhadra is listening, her eyes go really big because of suffering, and the separation. And the 16,108 wives who are listening, they realize they're nothing compared to the Vrindavan gopis. Nothing. They know Krishna as Lord Krishna is in person. They've seen Krishna cry, they've seen Krishna fail, they've defeated Krishna, he's played with the gopis like he's not God, he's not a king. Krishna is an ordinary boy. So, then Rohini comes to the pastime of Srimati Radharani's love, the main thing. And that's when Lord Krishna and Balram were there listening also. They came from somewhere. One was on the right, one was on the left of Subhadra. Subhadra Maharani, all the hands and everything had gone into her body like a tortoise, like a tortoise. She was like completely stunned and went into Mahaprakash Bhava. That's what it's called. And when Lord Krishna and Baladev were there, they heard about Srimati Radharani and her love for Krishna. Lord Krishna's eyes went this big, his hands protruded inside. And that's Lord Jagannath. When you see Lord Jagannath with his big eyes, because we've got Lord Krishna as Shyam Sundar, right? And he's with Radharani. But when he's not with Radharani, that's his halat, that's his condition. You look at Jagannath. Nothing. His hands are inside. So whenever you look at Jagannath, you see him as a form of, I shouldn't say Romeo and Juliet, but you know what I mean. He's in Mahaprakash Bhava because he's in separation from Srimati Radharani. That's Krishna. That's why we say Jagannath Swami Nayan Patigami Bhavatu Me, because you give us this darshan of your separation from Radharani. And that's why, actually it's known that in ISKCON, our main deities are actually Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. Because we are all in separation of Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada, he was playing with Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra as a child. And he had organized Rath Yatra in his own home. And when he came to America, he had, the story goes, Hari Sohari Prabhu was sitting here and giving the class. So I remember from memory, that when Prabhupada was there and his boys and girls were there, they went to a shop and they found this deity of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, and one of them just bought it and brought it to and showed to Prabhupada. Prabhupada was like, whoa, you got this. Go back there, there'll be two others. And they said, no, we didn't see two others. Go back there. Prabhupada was very, very angry and annoyed, very firm. They went back to the shop. They found Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, the three set, brought them. It was wonderful. And then Prabhupada had organized the first Rath Yatra there and named San Francisco, California. That's where they were. New Jagannath Puri. That was the first. And that was the first deities we had. Not Radha and Krishna. Anyway, so that is the form of Lord Krishna. So Narad Muni related to King the Drumra Maharaj and said, worship them in this way. But we run out of time. So, and the gates are open, right? So anyway, the short story is that those deities were made, and King Indradumna traveled with Narad Muni to Brahma Loka to find Brahma to come and do the Abhishek. So in the duration of the travel, so many kalpas has passed. One moment for Brahma is years. So 71 kalpas had passed, which is one Manmatara. The whole Manu changed by the time King Indradumna returned. But the temple that he had built, the deities, everything was there, still there. So they built the deities, and that's when the Daityas came. These deities were taken from the Daityas, actually carried in the chariot. And up till this day, the Daityas in Puri, they carry Jagannath in the chariot. Anyway, the deities were placed in the temple. Lord Brahma himself came down and installed and put the mantras and said to the deities, Lord Krishna, please reside in these deities. So the first 50 years, Lord Brahma said, of his own life, he had worshipped Nila Madhav. Second half, actually on his birthday, that's when he installed Jagannath and asked Lord Krishna to be in Jagannath. Second half of his life now, Brahma is on 50 years. He is worshipping Lord Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. And that's why we also should be, because these deities are there. And Lord Krishna has been placed there and asked to be present in Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. That's why we worship. Okay, we've done. Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra Maharani ki, Snan Yatra ki. Jai Gaur Pramanandi.